Okay, well, it's good you said you felt like outgrowing him. And it can sometimes be a threat to some men. This is in recognition of the power of mammon. And it turns out that many have not yet understood the nature of mammon. And by that I mean money. And there is only one other God that lays side by side with the Most High God in heaven in the New Testament. In the Old Testament, there were many gods, many gods, Dagon, Asherah, all of them, you can count them, innumerable. And even in some countries then, there are as many gods as there are individuals. I learned that some traditions, if you reach the age of 25, you become qualified to have your own God. But in the New Testament, only one other God was equated side by side with the God of heaven, and that is Mammon. And that's where Jesus himself said, "Thou shalt not serve God and Mammon." So two possible things to serve: the Almighty God and Mammon. In that sentence, Mammon was recognized. So if you don't recognize it, you have to know that Mammon can become a God. And it is not you that is the issue with your husband if he feels threatened. It is what that God that has now come into your house, not under his full control, what that God can do, that is the threat. So all you need to do, nip that God in the bud. I will ask you, do you have a joint account together? When I do marriage counseling for people before they get married, I always say to them, first of all, make sure you have a joint account. A joint account, and you have your individual accounts, keep it, but keep a joint account for the family. This is important. Technically, or techno-spiritually speaking, you might already be divided financially if you do not have a joint account, because you are separate already when it comes to finances. And God on one side, and then another God on another side. If the man sees himself like a God or the head of the home, like I said, where there's plurality of persons that is made for leadership. Two rams cannot drink from the same bucket. They will lock horns. So what happens is God himself established the difference. It was so in the beginning. It was not by design. It was by pronouncement. The man was not, you will notice that in the and I need you to catch this, because these are principles that will govern what I'm going to say, so you will not misunderstand me. God created the man, and then he created the woman. And when the woman was with the serpent and the apple, the man had no business with that. It was the woman. When the woman gave the man ate, it was the woman that gave. There was no such thing as one person is the head and one person is not, is the neck, or whatever the case may be. But when sin came into the world, immediately God stopped the possibility of two rams trying to drink from the same bucket at the same time. And he said, this is your punishment, woman. In pain, you will give birth, and your desire will be to your husband, and he will rule over you. For God to say that, it meant that that was not the original plan. It was not by design. It was by pronouncement. It was by judgment. And so it stands. But then the next thing I would have loved to say is outside the scope of this question, but suffice for now. So he is now Lord. Wherefore we are told that Sarah called her husband Lord. Now there is another Lord, Mammon. Now, and that Lord is with you. Two Lords. That is the threat in your marriage. It's not the man. It's what that Mammon can do. If you have a way of bringing that under subjection, if you have a joint account together, put the bulk of whatever. Take what you need in your individual account, put the bulk in the joint account, and be sure to have proper whatever mandate, signatory mandate you want to have, whether both to sign or either to sign, or whatever the case may be, or so. You will have nipped the problem in the bud. The husband will not care whether you become the president of the country or not, because there's no other God threatening him. It's not. Many women make the mistake of thinking that when they become wealthy, their husband becomes jealous. No, they ignore the real threat, the wealth, which really, shouldn't be enough to dissolve or bring about, a marriage being, broken into pieces. I pray that God will grant you the wisdom on how to discipline and bring Mammon under control, so that it will not become a threat in your home.